All right, today we're going to deconstruct how one of the most toxic ideologies in history was basically built on a foundation of, well, stolen symbols and twisted words. And we're going to start with a shape you think you know.
Yep, that one, the Nazi swastika. For pretty much all of us, it's one of the most disgusting emblems of hate in the entire world. I mean, it's a symbol of genocide, a really, really dark chapter in our history. And it feels so permanent, right? Like it was just born from all that darkness.
But what if I told you that for thousands of years, this exact same shape was a sign of blessing, of continuity, good fortune even? That's the incredible story we're going to unpack right now.
Okay, so to really get how this happened, we have to rewind the clock. I'm talking way, way back, long before the 20th century, to find out where this symbol actually came from. You see, for thousands of years, this shape was, well, it was everywhere. I mean, from Berber weaving in Africa to ancient temples in Asia, even in early Christian art in Europe. It wasn't a symbol of hate at all. It was all about the cycle of life, the path of the sun, divine protection. It was this almost universal symbol of light and eternity. Just think about that.
And the change, it was totally deliberate. The Nazis didn't just borrow the symbol. They twisted it. They warped it. See, the ancient version is usually upright, balanced. It kind of suggests this cosmic motion. But by tilting it 45 degrees, they turned it into something sharp, jagged, aggressive. They literally took a universal symbol of life and turned it into a political weapon of struggle and dominance.
And this wasn't some kind of accident. No way. Hitler himself spelled it out in Mein Kampf. He completely redefined it, ripping it away from thousands of years of global history just so it would fit his hateful ideology. So the key takeaway here is huge. The meaning wasn't just misinterpreted over time. It was intentionally changed by the Nazis themselves. It was pure propaganda.
And you know what? They did the exact same thing with a word, the word Aryan. Just like the swastika, its original meaning had nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with how they used it.
So, the word Arya actually comes from Sanskrit, one of the oldest languages on Earth. If you look at ancient Indian texts like the Rig Veda, it just meant noble or honorable. It was about how you lived your life, following a path of truth and righteousness. It had zero connection to race or what someone looked like. Absolutely none.
You can actually watch the corruption happen in about 3 steps. First, it's this noble concept in Sanskrit. Then, fast forward to the 19th century, European linguists start using Indo-Aryan to describe a family of languages. Notice, still not a race. And then, the Nazis hijacked it. They twisted it into this complete fiction of a master race to prop up their whole ideology.
And this whole thing, it brings us to the absolute core falsehood of their entire worldview. We're talking about the very idea of biological race itself.
You know, the word race, if you go back to its roots, just means lineage or stock. So when we say the human race, we're actually using it perfectly. We're talking about our one single shared family tree as a species.
So you might be thinking, okay, but what about all the physical differences we can see? Well, science is incredibly clear on this. Things like skin color, hair texture, eye shape, they're all just surface-level adaptations to different environments. That's it. They are not deep biological dividing lines. In fact, and this is wild, there can be more genetic variation between 2 people from the same village than between 2 people from opposite sides of the planet.
This analogy just nails it. Judging people by these superficial traits, it's like mistaking the color of one leaf for the entire root system and trunk of the tree. It's just a massive misunderstanding of basic biology and, what actually makes us who we are. So okay, if these outward traits don't define who's superior, then what does? Let's strip away all the ideology and just look at this from a cold, hard, biological, and evolutionary perspective. Think about it. In the long, brutal game of evolution, what's the ultimate measure of success? What really makes a species superior? Is it being the strongest, the smartest, the best looking?
Nope. The answer is just one thing: survival. And by that metric, guess what? There's only one human species left standing on this planet, Homo sapiens. Us. We are the only survivors from a family tree that had other branches, like the Neanderthals. So by the ruthless logic of evolution, we are the superior humans, simply because we're the ones still here. All of us. Together.
And here's the real kicker that just completely demolishes any idea of racial purity. Get this. Most humans with ancestry from outside of Africa carry between 1 and 4% Neanderthal DNA. We didn't just outcompete other human groups, we mingled with them. Our strength, our survival came from integration and adaptation, not from some fantasy of purity and exclusion.
All right, let's pull all these threads together now into one powerful, unifying truth.
And it all leads to this crucial conclusion. Racism isn't just immoral, it's scientifically illiterate. It's what you'd call a category error. It's mistaking the superficial wrapping paper for the actual gift inside. Biologically speaking, it's just plain wrong.
And this really just sums the whole thing up, doesn't it? The Nazis took a symbol of life and continuity and made it about struggle and dominance. They took a word that meant noble and twisted it into master race. They took the actual science of a single human family tree and shattered it into a fake hierarchy based on skin color. And they threw out the real definition of superiority, which is survival and adaptability, and replaced it with a dangerous myth about purity.
And all of this leaves us with one last big thought. When you actually take the time to trace these symbols, these words, these ideas back to their real roots, you see just how easily things can be twisted and manipulated. So the question I want to leave you with is this. What other things that we just accept as true might completely fall apart if we dared to look at the real story behind them?